What's up everyone? Today we're going to be going over 3 methods on how to speed bridge in Minecraft. Now a lot of you guys are probably wondering, why do I want to know how to do this? And you're going to be in a spot where you're in that final round for a business interview. Maybe you're going to Alabama for football, or maybe the family life. I'm not going to judge anything. And if you go in your resume and it doesn't say that you know how to speed bridge, that might help you get the job. But maybe there's a 1% chance that the person is like a 50-year-old speed bridging Minecraft legend, and then essentially you're going to be locked in for that job. One of the prerequisites for Bedwars, which is kind of a testament and kind of symbolic of real life, is money is kind of the answer for stuff. Maybe you're at Disney World, you see, you have those lines, you're waiting like 3 hours, and then you have that fast pass. You spend that $50 and you get to skip everything. And all that's going to correlate to Bedwars, having a very high quality mouse, having a nice keyboard. This is kind of a $10 keyboard. It's not, I actually got this for free, but regardless of the point, having a good mouse, having a good computer is going to make all of the difference. It's going to let you have success. I'm using a Razer mouse. I think it's the Razer Ballistic. There's a lot of mouses you could use, but basically the big thing is you want to know how to butterfly click. That's going to be the massive thing. And now the next important part is going to be having good Wi-Fi. If you're in Australia, you're just with a bunch of koala bears, you're doing what an Australian might do. Maybe you're in Asia, wherever you might be. If you're not in America, you might be having bad ping, and that's going to mess up your bridging, and that's going to just make stuff difficult. So I'm not saying that you should move to America just to win Bedwars games, but I'm kind of saying that, you might be at a disadvantage, and that's just something you're going to have to accept in life. And now that we've gone over the importance of all this equipment, this kind of goes back to that symbolism of society. If you're in America, it has a very big military budget, but do we want to face someone who has a nuclear weapon? Probably not. We want to go over to the people that have no equipment at all. We want to go over to the people that really don't have any military budget. And that's kind of the same for Bedwars. We want to be playing, all those things I was kind of saying that help you play Bedwars, or just Minecraft in general. Those are the people we want to play against. We want to play against the people that have no Wi-Fi. We want to play against the people that are running a potato on their PC. We want to take advantage of all that. And just some general advice, 10 p.m. Eastern time is prime for that. And I'm not saying that I do all my commentary videos at 10 p.m. Eastern time to be playing against very young children, maybe 6-year-olds or people with no Wi-Fi while I have all this equipment. I'm not saying that I do that, but I'm just saying hypothetically it might be 11 p.m. right now and I might be recording this video. So now that we've gone over the logistics, we talked about society, symbolism, US politics with nuclear warfare and all that. Now we can go over to the actual bridging. I can teach you guys some of this wisdom. So the first thing is we have 3 bridging methods, and we have kind of a 4th one for kind of the styling. If we really just want to be flexing on something, kind of just like that did not go to plan. If you just do something like this, this is like some sauce to just flex on people, but that's not the method we're going over right now. We're going over method number 1, which is your classic just speed bridging. So now if you're a normal player, you might just be doing this, which is not the move. You're gonna wanna go over to this part of the block. So maybe you're like 3rd pixel, 4th pixel. It doesn't fully matter. I think you could even do it like right here, for example. Like you could do just something like this. So the position really doesn't matter. But as you can see, naturally you're falling into one side of the block. You see I'm holding 2 keys. I'm holding my S and A key at once for stuff. And basically it's gonna glide you to one end of the block. And then you're gonna have to readjust yourself mid-bridge. I don't know if there's a method to not do that, but that's just always what I do for stuff. It's really just all about finding a slight tempo, and whenever you get too close to the bridge, you just readjust yourself for stuff. See, so I'm getting a little close, and then I just readjust. And then you have to find a tempo. Once you get a good tempo, you're very strong, and you can start speed bridging super fast like that. And then you can even do a double click like that. And you'll probably notice that you can also vary the speed for stuff. Right now I'm kind of doing like a mid speed. This is kind of the speed I would do for a Bedwars video, but I can also definitely increase it. But the problem, as you increase all your speed, it increases the risks of falling in the void for stuff. So it's really finding that perfect balance of going fast enough, but not too fast where you'll fall in the void. And also another key thing that I think is important to note is a lot of people might just hold right click for stuff. Like you see that, and I'm kind of falling in the void, but you could do that. Like you see I'm holding right click. Oh my God, I just got sticky keys. But the fact of the matter is if you want to really speed bridge fast, you're going to want to time your clicks, and you're just going to have to really get that tempo. So I think just kind of replaying this, seeing the speed that I'm doing this, and then really just getting practice yourself is what you're going to do. It's really learning to, you see there, like I'm kind of like bridging, I'm doing my bridging, but then I'm slowly gliding to a side and then I reset back. And then you can also do things like you see I'm about to run out of blocks, so you swap your blocks. You can also bridge up, where you just kind of take a little pause and then you bridge up. And that's kind of the moves for stuff. You could just do one block at a time to really get your tempo. See something like that, very slow, and then you can really start to ramp it up and you can start to do all that. So now that we've gone over bridge method 1, this kind of leads to our next method, and this is kind of the stunting method. This is if you want to, like, you know, you're really trying to get that final round interview, you want to flex on people, this is what you do. This is like no bridging, and this is a very easy bridging method. Basically all you have to do for this method is you literally just have to know how to butterfly click. And this is actually going to be a lot easier than the first bridging method. All you have to do is butterfly click and hold blocks. And if you're clicking at like 10 CPS, it'll just let you do that. The first Speedbridge method is a lot harder because it's all timing. You have to learn how to time your clicks. You have to have perfect timing or else you fall in the void, which is not fun. But for a method like this, you literally don't have to do anything. All you have to do is learn how to butterfly click and you are essentially golden. You can kind of do this forever. And it's also pretty consistent for stuff. And if you're wondering how to butterfly click and how I really learned how to do it, I think I just started at a very young age. You know, it's kind of if you do an instrument at a young age, it helps. I don't know. But what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 fingers. You're just going to put it on your mouth just like this. And you're just going to do 1 click, then another click. So you have your 2 fingers here, 1 click, then another click, 1 click, then the other click. And then you start doing it a little faster, you start getting a pattern, and then you start doing that, and you start going like crazy like that. And that's kind of just the method. It's like something you really just have to practice. You just got to do that rhythm of 1 click, the other click, 1 click, the other click. And kind of like I said with the equipment, this is something where having a very good gaming mouse like really helps. It makes it so much easier to do all this stuff if you have a good gaming mouse. And this right here is more of a kind of a flexing method. This is if you just want to do some sauce, you know, for all that. But if you were actually doing this, like, I probably wouldn't rarely do that in the game. What I normally do is this, where you just shift and you're kind of doing more of a speed bridge. This is what I would do for stuff, because the one method I was doing before is not like super consistent. It's like kind of consistent, but it's more of just if you want to stunt or something. But the method where you really just shift and build up is really what you're going to be wanting to do if you're doing Bedwars, normal Minecraft, Skywars, whatever type of game mode. And then you can kind of transition back into this speed bridge. And like you see, it's all about the timing. It's all the timing. You see I'm getting close to the edge, I'm gonna reset, get back to the track. You see I ran out of blocks, you keep track of your blocks. And then you really just have to do this. Doing this speed bridging is one of my favorites because it's basically super consistent. It's very hard to fall in the void because as long as you're butterfly clicking properly, you're basically golden. It's very easy. The first method is way harder, but if you learn this, it's a lot easier. And this kind of goes to our next method, which is also very easy. If you know how to butterfly click, you're perfect. It's the ninja bridge, where basically all you have to do is butterfly click and you do shift and unshift, just like so, and you're essentially golden. And this is a very consistent bridging method. It's pretty easy for stuff, and it's really just learning the butterfly clicking. For a lot of things you might be seeing people bridging, you might think it's a lot of really the shift timing. For a bridging method like this, definitely is, but when you go to the butterfly method for the ninja bridge, or just this bridge up here, it really is just, can you really butterfly click? And then a little bit of the timing too. And if you also look at the top of my screen, I'm also adding a keystroke sync, so you can also really see my keystrokes. As you can see, I'm clicking about 11, 10 CPS for stuff. I'm also doing a little bit of keyboard movement too. I'm literally just holding S. I'm holding S right here, and I'm just shifting and unshifting, and butterfly clicking. It's literally not that. And then occasionally I'm also typing A, because you might, if you keep doing this, you might just get a bad angle. You see this is kind of slower, but if I do this and occasionally press S, I can get a little faster for speed. So it's just timing, and it's really just looking at it. If I see like right here, I'm really at this block, like this isn't good, so I know I want to press S. So if, as long as you're in that corner, you don't need to press S. So it's really just pressing S to get yourself in that corner. So I would really just keep looking at this, you know, see the keystrokes of what I'm doing, and then also really getting practice. Practice is going to make perfect. For the 2 last bridging methods, for this bridging method and the ninja bridge, it's all about really just the CPS. Can you click very fast? And if you can, you're going to be golden. And then the first method is a lot of timing. So the first method is going to be a lot easier if you don't have a good gaming mouse. The second and third method are really going to be a lot easier if you have a gaming mouse. If you don't, it's not as applicable for stuff. So yeah, those are basically the 3 bridging methods. You have the first method is just a shift unshift. You're really just holding A and S at the same time. You're timing your clicks. You don't want to hold right click. You want to time it if you want speed bridge very fast. You're just doing shift unshift. And once you get a pattern, it becomes pretty easy, and you just want to make sure to also transition your blocks. You're eventually going to run out of blocks. And then randomly, if you want to go up, you just stop, you press spaceboard, place a block, and then continue. Stop, place a block, continue. Then you go to your other method. This is the stunted method, where literally all you got to do is butterfly click and just kind of like you just go left, back and forth. You press A and then D and then go S. So you're just kind of going left, right, backwards, left, right, backwards. And you get a kind of a cool movement like that. And then you have here what you would really just be doing in a game, where you're just shifting, unshifting, bridging up. This is what I would do for really any game for stuff. This is very, very consistent. And then the final one is the ninja bridge, where you're just shifting, unshifting while butterfly clicking. And that is about it. So the last 2 methods are really honing in that butterfly clicking. It's a little bit repetitive, but it's just something you gotta really learn. It's just, you gotta be able to butterfly click for those last 2 methods. The first method, really just the speed bridging. It's just the timing. And that's kind of about it. Obviously, there's some more methods. You know, there's people that are like breezily bridging. I don't even think I can do that. I can really only do it if you jump. That's the only way I can kind of do some of that stunting for some of that stuff. So overall, that's been the tutorial. Kind of a short thing. You can kind of see the keystrokes. Hopefully that's a little helpful. You can kind of replay the videos that you thought were helpful, skip the parts you don't want to see, and you can kind of get a general idea of how I would do this for stuff. And really the big way of learning how to speed bridge is just going to get practice. You need a lot of practice, and more importantly, you want good equipment. You want to get a good mouse, you want to get a good PC, you want to get good Wi-Fi, and if you have all that, it's going to be a lot easier. If you don't, you're in Australia, it might be a little bit quick. And that's basically it. Make sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like. Let me know if you're planning to go on that Alabama trip. You can also join the Discord server. You can get an OG role in the announcements tab, so you were here for the start. And if you have any questions, just let me know. You know, I can try to help you if you're bridging and stuff, and that's basically it. I'll see you guys in the next video.